What's happening, guys? So just sneaking the truck out for a little bit. We've got the AFE Momentum installed. That is a cold air kit. And we're going to play a little 0 to 60. Kind of interested to see how this truck does. Here we go. Wow. Okay, pretty decent result, guys. That's 5.44 seconds. Get this thing flipped around here if you can see it. I don't think you can see that. Hang on. Pretty darn impressive. So yeah, 0 to 60, 5.44 seconds. And in similar conditions, the best it could rattle off, the absolute best, was a 5.5, but it was more consistent in like the 5.58 seconds. So I tell you what, if nothing else, it certainly sounds different. No doubt about that. Wow, that's pretty impressive. So just a quick little hit, but I am impressed with this. Already it's the best number it's run, so. Not too shabby. 60. So what we're doing is we're data logging, so let's see if the data has anything to say about this. Please. So one of the key issues that I had, if you want to call it an issue, was I was monitoring KPA, which is the amount of vacuum, if you will, in the manifold, the intake manifold. The closer you can get that to ambient barometric pressure, the better. And guys, I gotta tell you, it definitely did. It improved it. I'm looking at the data right now, and wow, that's a result. So before, and keep in mind, this truck only needs 2 gears to get to 60. Let's see here. At the very top of 2nd gear, before, the issue that I was running into was that it was significantly lower than ambient barometric pressure, meaning that there was some kind of a restriction in the intake, where it would be as low as 0.92 kPa if the ambient kPa, the ambient barometric pressure, was say 102. We're down here at sea level here, so we get a little bit higher barometric pressure. And in this case, the worst number I'm seeing is 95. So that's better than 92, but leading up to that, it's doing really well based on the data that I've got. Running it out all the way to shift, it's picked up about 2 to 3 points in KPA. That's about 2 to 3%. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, presumably it means that we picked up 2 to 3% in power. It went quicker, 0 to 60, by about 1/10. Truck is still stock tune and all of that, so we still have the rev limiter, or rather the speed limiter, I should say, in play. So it's not going to do us a whole lot of good to run a 1/4 mile, because we're just going to hit the speed limiter potentially sooner. So it doesn't really help us too much. Anyway, you know, 2 to 3 points, you know, somewhere around 12-ish horsepower is what I would surmise from that number difference. So there you go. There's a result, and it sounds amazing. I don't know if it's coming across, but it really does sound good. All right, guys, so checking back in with you, just kind of driving the truck around now. I can tell you this, you know, you would think that this might be a bit of a placebo effect, but the truck does feel a little bit snappier under higher loads, not necessarily wide open, but kind of partial throttle. That was not wide open. That's just me tipping into the throttle. That was, by my perception, about half throttle in sport mode. So I'm just saying, guys, I don't know if it's all the intake, but it didn't do that before. This thing is properly fun. It's a bit spirited, and the data would suggest that it's bearing itself out. To agree with that, because it is definitely, again, it just feels snappier under heavy load partial throttle conditions. I got to be cool because we've got a friendly at our right now 5 o'clock. So good. Yeah, guys, I gotta say it's definitely an improvement, that's actually super hard for me to admit to, considering it's just a cold air intake. That's just letting me go through the gears, not wide open, nothing like that, just trying to keep it from spinning the tires a little bit. And again, stock tune, 331. Four-wheel drive truck, not in four-wheel drive right now though. What I'm doing right now, guys, is I'm getting it into some higher load areas, trying to find out, again, more data, trying to find out where that KPA is lying with this truck. This thing sounds so good with that MagnaFlow exhaust. What's crazy is just how quiet it is outside the truck. At idle, it just sits there and burbles. You can't really even tell, but you roll into the throttle and oh, does it sound good. Fuel mileage is going to be horrible after this. It's already dropped like 4 points. Okay, guys, so I've had a chance to drive the truck around for just a little bit, and where I'm noticing the truck has picked up, wide open throttle, you don't really drive at wide open throttle all the time, right? It's where you are partial throttle. And it's in this area right here that perceived half throttle, maybe third throttle to half throttle area. Again, this is in sport mode. It really does feel like it picked up there. That's not a placebo. And although my butt dyno is not as finely calibrated as others may be, I can tell you that, I don't know if you can hear it, but somebody's making a hit on a bike up there. I can tell you that it is definitely noticeable, to say the least. And it's noticeable not just at wide open throttle, but I want to emphasize that it really does seem to be noticeable in that partial throttle area where you're going to be in it the most. Get you guys a shot going over the bridge here as I'm still collecting data. Got it in kind of a higher load area coming up the bridge. Just leaning on the throttle just a little bit.